This is my industrial district on the Hermitcraft Season 11 server. And as you can see, it looks very similar to all other industrial districts. A whole bunch of glass, a whole bunch of exposed redstone, large structures defying the laws of gravity, and the repetitive sound of pain and suffering everywhere. But it doesn't necessarily have to be this way. In Hermitcraft Season 10, I housed all of my industrial farms inside of a gigantic factory, which I'm a massive fan of, but inside the aesthetic was very much the same. Exposed redstone, glass, rails. Today I want to see if I can make a farm that actually looks cool on its own. It's not encased or hidden away inside of another cool build, it's on full display, but what's on display looks cool. Oh, and by the way, I think I'm going to make a bamboo farm, so we've started things off with the platform that the bamboo is being placed on. I don't know why I did this, but I like it. Now, of course, first thing that we need is actually the things required to have the bamboo farm, so we've got our pickup system. Oh my goodness, what happened to my rails? There is a faint hum of many minecarts trying to push one another. I've probably got background music on at this point in time, so you probably can't hear what I'm talking about. So I'll do a quick impression. Our slime block flying machine is now all in place. This is what's going to be wiping out our bamboo. Now we can give this thing a bit of a test flight, so it travels off, and eventually it will make its way to the end, and it will bounce back. Okay. So we've got it. This is a bamboo farm, but it is currently unbelievably ugly. So let's get to work on decorating. The main problem that I want to solve is this flying machine floating and looking like it's being propelled by nothing. I've tried to cover up some of the slime blocks, but honestly, that's not doing much, is it? Okay, what if I had something a little bit like this? I could put a trapdoor at the end of that kind of covers up some of the slime block action. The motor would still go somewhere over there, but at least it looks like it's resting on something. And then maybe I could give the impression that it's being pulled on a chain. I'm not entirely sure if that makes sense, because you kind of wouldn't see the chain moving. This is the only link that would show any difference. Oof. And if I fully encase this thing, I've hit the piston push limit already, so we'd need to have 2 flying machines on each side. So there'd be one here, and then one there, and then there'd be another one on that side. And I will say, I don't think we've really achieved much. It still looks pretty pants, if I'm gonna be honest. Honey is slightly more forgiving than slime. How's it looking? How's it looking? Oh gosh, I swear, I'm the fumbleiest Minecraft player to ever have existed. Better. Still pants. Maybe the answer is more wheels. Actually, weirdly, yes. Even more wheels has actually yielded some result. We could be getting somewhere. We haven't solved the propulsion problem just yet, but this looks like a carriage, which, if I'm smart, I could also make it look like it was being suspended by a set of wheels in the middle. So you could have like a set of wheels in the middle that are not connected to the machine, that are like here. Obviously, we will have lost a line of our bamboo farm here, but I would say it is potentially worth it for the aesthetic. We may have hit the point of too many wheels, you know. Maybe if I make it so that this outer edge is just being carted along on the outside, that's not terrible. I don't know anymore. Somebody commented on my previous video that a Mumbo building video is like Bob Ross if Bob Ross stopped 6 times per episode to anxiously second guess himself and start over, and I've never read something so accurate. Grindstones can't even be moved. Grindstones can't even be moved. What am I doing? After taking 20 minutes to just sit in the corner for a while, I've then spent an hour building things up, tearing them down, building them up again, tearing them down again. Nothing looks like anything. There are no happy accidents in this world. This is nothing but sadness. Okay, I think I'm feeling better now. I've established a system that I think makes sense. We're going to have a cog that turns a big pulley here, which will turn this thing, which will then move this thing in this direction. Now, the important thing is the cog needs to be bi-directional, because when the flying machine gets to the end, it needs to stop and go back in the opposite direction, moving this back across. Now, I do have some cool ideas for the propulsion system, but for the time being, I'm focusing all of my efforts on this. I think one thing that's massively going to help is this thing actually looking like a farm. So I've got the bamboo in, and I've also put some time into working out the composition of the structure, which I think is now significantly better. This is looking more like a build now. I've also added in some of the details like ladders and wires. This sign is going to say Big Bamboo Co. I can't wait for that. Now I just need to design the redstone for the cog. Oh, and this gap here, this is going to be the propulsion system. It will make sense soon. I don't have to worry very much about compactness, so this thing is going to be absolutely enormous. First things first, I am powering all of the trapdoors. They have blocks behind them so that none of the redstone is visible. Now, again, this needs to be bi-directional, so I need to be able to go in this direction and also in this direction, which is kind of weird. I'm trying to think of a smart way to do this that isn't absolutely enormous. Immediately following this sentence, I attached a bunch of leaves to the observers. I'm not sure that's smart. As you can see from this pile of gradually despawning redstone resources, it was not. I think I've had a bit of a cheaty idea. I'm going to make use of a trick of the brain. And that is if I alternate which ones are powered and which ones are unpowered and sort of flick that back and forth, I think your brain will fill in the gaps as to what direction the cog is going. Like, it could be going either direction. You will use context cues to work out which direction it should be going and follow that. And the best part is now, if it looks bad and I've established this, it means that it's a you problem. It's not my fault you can't make your brain make this look good. Oh, except now it's going to be super embarrassing if I don't think this looks good. I guess we're about to find out. That sounds good. And I think it looks good. I think in the context of other things going on, I think it looks good. So now it's time to move on to propulsion. I'm going to have a little train type thing underneath here that goes in the opposite direction to the flying machine up here. So it goes like this as this goes across, and then it goes like this as this goes across. The only thing is, I've made life hard for myself because I have made it so that the distance this thing has to travel is like 2/3 of the distance that this thing has to travel. So they have to travel at slightly different speeds, which, you know, is kind of hard. I might actually have to do a sort of manual flying machine. So unlike a regular flying machine that has observers and it's self-powering, instead I'm going to have redstone lines that power the pistons, which means I'll be able to adjust the timings a little bit. I have never done this before, so I'm kind of curious to see how this actually goes. So I'm going to make an assumption that if I just do this and that, it will... Okay, quasi-connectivity gets the best of us. So it gradually makes its way to the end. And now, if I keep this sequence, let's see. So it's going to crash into the end. I fire this, it does nothing. And then, quasi-connectivity. But after that, I guess it will then, automatically start coming back because the sequence has sort of been flipped due to the single misfire of this one. This is a big win. So then at this end, I just need to make a little something that will fire this piston before this one refires and sends it back off, which should break the loop and pause it in this station over here. The theory is solid. Let's see how well this actually ends up working. All right, that should be fixed. And I've slowed everything down because that looked completely insane. This could be more like it. So now let's see if we trigger this. That should activate our flying machine, and it is moving, which is good. It's moving pretty slow, but I think that's good. It's really slow, so we might need to speed it up a little bit. But now it's bounced back. Excellent news. And eventually... there we go. It has plonked itself to the end. This is slightly faster and smaller, and it seems to be working just as well. So now I've added in a bunch of decoration. This is our moving little thing that is attached to a pulley that turns the cog and shifts this top one back and forth. Now I've linked this up to the top one, and just temporarily this line should activate it. I would be very surprised if these are even remotely close in terms of being in sync with one another. They definitely are not. Okay, my bottom one has to be a little bit faster. I've made adjustments. Let's see what happens Or I would say this is close. I would say this is close. It's not far off. It still needs to be faster. I also want to connect up the cog because I feel like a lot of the build currently is quite lifeless outside of the two moving parts. Things are getting comically lo-fi back here. I think I've got the timings correct. So let's activate this thing. And I think with a little bit of drama, okay, I think this can look pretty legit. Now that this thing's attached to the ground already, I'd say it looks a lot cooler. Oh, if I could get some 3x3 fans installed down there. Oh, they just about fit. That is so very, very cool. I might actually not put another fan over here just because you're going to be standing over here a lot more. And these things are noisy. I'd say that all works pretty well for me. So now let's do the activation system. And of course, this is going to have engines and things like that on the inside. So chimneys are a must. And okay, yeah, that is sort of balancing off the build, you know. You know what? This is kind of coming together, and it's making me a little bit upset that I already have an industrial district on Hammercraft Season 11, because it would be so cool to build a town of farms. I do wish I could switch off these smokestacks until the farm gets activated, but with the size of the chimneys, that isn't really possible. But one little thing that I want to do is have a bunch of furnaces activate once the farm gets switched on. To do that, I am just going to allow a single piece of fuel into all of the furnaces and they'll start smelting. So now I need to choose a fuel that sort of matches up timing-wise with the whole system. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? Maybe droppers? Can you... Wait, I will be totally honest, I've never tried to drop an item into a furnace. You can drop items into furnaces. Wow, okay. That actually makes life significantly easier, so massive win. I must say, I'm getting excited now. I'm adding all of the finishing touches. I've even added a little circuit that should pause this cog when this gets to this end and then start it back up again. It could do with a little bit of work on the timings, but I still think it's good. Now I just need the storage off to this side, and I can't help myself. I'm getting carried away, but I want a storage silo over here. And now finally, the build is done. Check out this place. I mean, come on now. Come on now. Does this not look pretty cool? Check out the sign. Big Bamboo Corp, I'm a fan. I think as far as industrial farming builds go, this is about as good as it gets. I certainly haven't had an actual individual farm that looks this cool, and I definitely haven't had a farm that is so cool to use. Now, currently, I've got it on manual harvest mode just because that adds to the drama, but of course, you could hook this up to a redstone clock, and then it will be fully automatic. But as you can see right here, hit the button, the alarm sounds, the furnaces kick into gear, and the machine starts running. We've got the pulleys and the gears moving. This is being pushed along by engines and things inside of the mechanism. It's no longer a flying machine sort of situation. This is mechanical and actually being moved by the machines, which I think is super, super cool. Oh, and the items are popping out of the farm and they are flowing into our storage silo at the end here. It's not the most relaxing place to wait for your items. You know, you have to suffer for style. So that is all working nicely. I have to say, building this thing was significantly harder than I expected it to be. It's a challenging building project. There's so much ugly stuff that you have to cover up, and there's so many things that you simply can't work around. But I think I have just about managed to pull it off. More importantly, I think this could be the start of something really, really interesting. I cannot wait to see what others do with this sort of concept, and potentially what I can do with this going forwards. It's been a very fun redstone challenge. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you all in the next one.